have what we have, but the problem is we're not setting it properly to be passed down to the next generation. So we can do better in that space. For sure, we can. Because when I sit with clients and we review their portfolios and their financial needs analysis, I find that a lot of times they're not even thinking about the next generation. They're just worrying about just themselves. And only a few of them are thinking deep down two, three, four generations down the line. So, but we help them course correct. We do. So, but majority of people, they think, oh, because I have my house, oh, I have this, I have that. But then they forget sometimes that maybe they've borrowed against that house or they didn't pay a debt. So there's still debt to be paid. So rather than passing something that would be beneficial and grow their family wealth, it actually takes them a few steps back.
Mm,
So, yeah.
interesting. Well, that's a good point. I mean, it's if you look at some of the stats on black families, I'm gonna have to agree with Miss Aisha on what she just said that there's a lot of room for improvement. And I like the way you put that because it's not a matter of beating up on anybody, it's really a matter of being honest. And 70, did y'all know how many of y'all knew this? 70% of all black families have zero or negative net worth by the time so basically by the time the breadwinner of the family dies, the father or the mother or both, 70% of our families have zero or negative net worth. I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that's a problem? Or is that just okay? Is it okay because we're black? What do you think about that stat, Aisha? I want to meditate on that for a minute. I'm kind
It,
of I'm kind of shocked by that.
yeah, it is not okay. No, let's just get that. It's not okay. And but the sad part is it is true, but we do have room for improvement. They say every day is a new day. It's a new day to course correct and fix the problem. But it's even for me as a professional in this space, it's hard for me when I'm interviewing a client and trying to find out where they are, and I can tell from their age that are not prepared at all. And if they are not prepared, how can they even do anything for the next generation? Excuse me, right? So it's very painful for me. That is why I am truly committed, and this is a passion for me. It's not just, oh, I'm an agent. Truly, it's a crusade. It's a mission that we need to understand this. Maybe I made a mistake, but make sure that the next generation behind me does not make the same mistake because it is so unnecessary. And just small tweaks, small little changes can make a huge difference. Dr. Boyce, I have to about you. When I first learned about you many, many years ago, you were talking about a $5 a day plan, right? It seems so insignificant. People probably made fun of it. $5, yeah, right, right. But not understanding that there is power in compounding interest. That if you put that money away and just keep doing it, there's something magical that happens afterwards. But it takes time. But if you haven't done anything, but you want to compound it today, it's impossible. It's like you're trying to plug a round hole into a square. It's not possible, but you can start from somewhere. You can start organizing now where you okay the square fits with a square, the hole fits with a hole, with a circle fits with a circle. That way you can fix the problem, right? So that's how I feel about that statistics. It's true, but we have to do better, and we can do better because the tools are out there for all of us. So we have no excuse. Dr. Boy's Black Business School is there where you can get your information and you know you're getting it from the right source. You're not doubting yourself. You know that we have your best interest at heart. We will do the best thing for you always, not just with that, with exceptional, service and excellent, advice and really the information. So we want to do that for you. So don't feel like, wow, it's over for me. No, it's not. This is not over until it's over. We can always turn around and make things different.
Well, you know what, Aisha, it's interesting you say that, and I agree. I mean, it's not as if we don't know what to do and don't have what we need. Um, just last night, we spent 2 hours in Coin, our options investing network. We were going through stock options for like 2 hours, and by the time I got done, my brain was like turned into ice cream because I was so tired. But it was just one of those things where it's not as if we don't have access to what we need to know. My wife and I were talking about this a lot yesterday because, my wife is doing something that really, actually, we were shocked that no other scholars have ever taken on this issue. She searched all the academic journals on, in her therapy field, psychology, finance, everything. Nobody has ever really studied Black financial psychology.
Nope.
Like no one's ever, no researchers, I told, we were reflecting, and I said, yeah, when I was at Syracuse, and I told them I wanted to study things that related to Black people, they were like, well, that's not important. That's not gonna, you're not gonna get a raise or a promotion from that. We're not gonna reward because basically the inherent belief, the inherent idea is that Black people just don't matter, right? So I don't care when people come around and they say Black lives matter. No, they don't, not to you. And they don't. In fact, not only do Black lives not matter to other people, I don't even know if they matter to us. I think that we take our cues from other people. So if others see us as worthless, then we see ourselves as worthless. And if you see yourself as worthless, then why would you preserve and take care of something that you don't value? Right? It's so a lot of times economic self-esteem is a concept that I think needs to be discussed. I don't know how many other people have ever shared this or talked about this, but economic self-esteem is critical because if I am thinking about what am I going to leave my kids, and I say, well, I ain't nobody, I ain't got nothing, I don't matter. Well, then you're not gonna protect and take care of what you have. You know what?
Absolutely.
Now, I think you matter. I think that what you have does matter. It might make the difference between your daughter being able to pay some bills versus her having to do something uncomfortable to make money. Um, but if you don't think it matters, then you're not going to preserve it because we don't preserve and protect the things that we do not value. So self-worth is really critical. And actually, there's more I want to share about what the initial insights. Alicia and I, we decided in our Black financial therapy department to start doing original research on Black financial psychology because this is a wide open field. Nobody, I said we should train other scholars to do the same thing because people need to do this. And there were some shocking findings in the preliminary results of the survey that she took yesterday. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I don't want to give away too much of what's going. She's still doing the data analysis, but there was a finding that we grabbed that really made us think for a long time. So anyway, with that being said, what do you think about this idea of Black self-esteem just not being where it needs to be, and that impacting whether or not we feel we're worthy enough to even pass anything on to the children, or that we're worthy enough to expect an inheritance from our parents?
Mhm. Mhm. Wow. Yesterday, Dr. Boyce, actually, I was listening to you and Dr. Alicia speak about this, and I was so excited when she started talking about that. And then to see again that nothing had ever been done in this space, to see the ramification of all that happened to the generation of Blacks and how that affects them today. Nothing has ever been done. And so when she was speaking, I was like, wow, that would be so amazing, right? Because there's truth to what our past did to us and how we can move forward, right? And then now you're saying that, what the findings that you're seeing. Actually, I took the survey yesterday, right? A lot of the questions, most of them apply to me, but I did it because she needs to gather information to do this work. And I'm just so proud of her that she's doing this because that's going to be groundbreaking. And that'll also help our community. Self-esteem starts even from the parents, like even when the mom is pregnant and just a whole space where that child is growing, right? That is where it begins. They say a child feels all the emotions of the mother while the baby is in the womb. All the things has stressors. The baby feels it. So when the baby is born, it carries that in the body. It carries it, right? That's why a lot of time when a woman is pregnant in other cultures, like my culture, she is preserved. She's kept no stress, not this, not that. But here, where they have no choice. They have to work, and then maybe they're by themselves. They have no spouse. So the stressor already in the body of the child is already starting from a very young age, right? And then you pass it on. So then you
Mm,
see yourself as, oh, well, I don't even matter. I'm just one of them. I'm just one.
mm,
While in other culture, as you're being, you're going to have a baby, like the whole people come around you. It's like a ritual. You're going to have a child. There's this joy, there's this happiness.
yeah.
Everybody is coming. So already your whole body is feeling somehow. Even though you can't touch it, you can feel it. But as a human being, all the joy and the love you already been poured over you. that child feels it because it's in your body, it's part of you. And then when that child comes out already, and then also the welcoming and the joy that comes that surrounds that child makes that child feel like they are blessed and welcome. And the blessings that are being said on that child when that child is born, the blessing that is being spoken, and they speak it, and everybody goes in, they go take turns, the elders, to pray a blessing over this child.
Oh
it,
my
it that
gosh.
carries weight. And then when you grow up, even though you might be poor, but because of the way you were brought to this earth, you have value. Because your value is not about materialism. It's not. It's just about being who you are. So when you carry yourself that way, wherever you go, you succeed because you know who you are. The blessing has been
Mm.
poured over you already. And your parents told you how you were conceived, how everybody was waiting for you and you were born. Everybody showed up, the village were there and they blessed you. There's something about that. That when
Oh
you
my
grow
goodness.
up, you know who you are. I don't need you to tell me who I am. I know who I am from the where I come from. They told me already. So I just need to go out now and conquer the world, period. That's
Mm.
all I have to do. Just a matter of time.
Wow. 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 Woof. I'm feeling that. I mean, are y'all feeling that? Are y'all feeling just affected by what she just said? Aisha Verzi is her name, by the way. Her name is right there on the screen. I want everybody to know your name, Aisha. That was really heavy. I mean, I was like hypnotized by what you said because I could visualize it. Like I visualized the child coming into the world and the mother being loved, nurtured, protected. And I think as an African American, I was a little traumatized because I thought about what happens to us. You know, some of us were born right outside of a trash can. You know,
Mm,
like I mean, it's really hard. Like you hear a lot of stories like that. I
mm,
when I was a baby, my white family found me in the dumpster. I think Tommy Davidson, I think that was his story. It was something crazy like that. You know, or even when I asked my mother, I went to my mother, and I love my mother, and I said, so when I was born, who was at the hospital? Was there anybody
mm,
waiting for me to be born? And she said, no, it was me and you and the white nurse that
mm,
gave birth to me. It gave birth to you, and that was it. Nobody else was there. And I said, well, where was everybody?
mm,
And she said, well, on Friday they would go eat at Kingfish.
mm,
So they were all out eating at King. No, like nobody. And I was angry. I was like, whoa, and I really connected with my mother in that moment because I imagined this little scared 17-year-old girl just with this baby by herself, not knowing what to do, not getting, the support and guidance. And I said, that ain't that there's something wrong with that, right?
mm,
And so with that said, it's and then I want to go to the part about just the way the mother is treated, right? Understanding just how precious and how valuable a mother
Mother
is.
is
Like mothers, there is no
absolutely
dollar amount you can put on motherhood
on the
because we
mother.
don't exist without motherhood. You can exist
Mhm,
without dollar bills. You can exist without those worthless pieces of paper.
mhm.
But you can't exist without your mama.
No,
Do y'all agree with me? Can I get an amen in the
absolutely.
chat if you agree?
Amen.
None of us
Amen.
exist. There is none of this is happening without our mothers. And the idea of just of saying, okay, because we know where the wealth is, right? Remember, this class is called financial consciousness. You got to know where the wealth is. You got to see it. So some of y'all are looking toward the money, and you're not actually looking toward the people.
Mhm,
So because we know where the wealth is not in how much money is in this person's pocket. The wealth is the fact that she's giving birth to a human being that's going to be an asset to our community. I mean, that is deep and sacred and interesting because it's a contrast, really, actually, to the way we're even trained to think about family, motherhood, and money and all that, right? Because you'll hear people in the United States that say, well, if you don't have enough money to raise the baby, you should just abort it. Just get rid of it. Right. And I'm not saying that I'm not judging anybody's choices, right? But just that idea, it's not the decision that bothers me. What bothers me is that you mean to tell me that this human being doesn't get to live? The next Martin Luther King might not be born because you only had $200 in your checking account instead of $2,000? Are you serious right now?
I'm serious right now.
Like, so so to your point, and the last thing I'm gonna say about what you said, you know what this made me think about too, Aisha, is that idea of nurturing, preserving, and loving the mother and really making sure she's comfortable so she can really have the healthiest baby possible. This is instinctual to me. To me, this is common sense. I think slavery slapped a lot of the common sense out of us
Hmm.
because I've told you all that story before. I'll never forget that story of the time. Do you remember the story about the goose? I'm sure you've heard
Yes,
the
that
story.
they'll fight you. They say,
Yeah,
where you know
there was a goose in the middle of the
yes,
road that was ready
yes,
to fight me. Like he
yes.
wouldn't let me pass. Like I was trying to walk, I go left, he went left, I went
Yep,
right, he went right.
yep,
I
yep,
walked up to him, his neck got really long and his wings came up like
yep.
he was like, I'm ready to fight you. And I was like, why is this goose ready to fight me? And do you know what this goose was fighting for? Was he was protecting his child's mother. His
That's
child's
right.
mother was just sitting over there. She's just sitting over there,
Just
just sitting on
looking.
the edge. Not a care in the world. She had no idea that her husband was about to get into be part of a crime scene that was about to strangle this goose, right? No, he was like, no, this is the mother of my child, buddy, and I'll die for this. And
Absolutely.
so to me, that damn goose, I have so much respect for him. That
Yes.
goose has more masculinity than half the damn men out here that we see on the internet talking crazy about the women.
About
My
the
baby
women.
mama is stupid. I hate these dang women. You want $25 to go to Waffle House? What's wrong with you? You go to just this crazy. So it's crazy that this goose had more masculinity in his tiny little feathered body than
Hmm.
some grown men have in their. This is crazy. So
He's
I'm gonna
stretching
stop
to fight
talking.
you.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm talking,
You know,
but that's what I thought about. You protect the mother.
yes, you
I,
do.
okay. Let's find. Let me
Dr. Boyce,
bring it in.
I love what you said about that. You really also said a lot of things that I was thinking about. And sometimes I think there's a missing piece because in every other culture that I have been able to witness, apart from my own culture from Nigeria, and the women, sometimes people see on the outside, oh, the women do all the work. But you have to remember there's something about that. It's also about the women being the helpers of the family. So even though the women do that, but there's still something behind that may look similar, it may look very minor, but it's so powerful. And that is the blessing that a child is going to be born. And everybody knows that. Even if the woman is not educated, she's cleaning, it doesn't matter. But the fact that the village knows that it's a blessing and that child will be raised knowing that they were conceived and they're a blessing to the tribe, to the family. It raises your level of esteem to a level that cannot be bought with money. It's not about that, right? And also in other culture, I've heard that they say if you want to be wealthy and you want to preserve your wealth, you have to treat your wife well.
Mm,
You have to treat the mother of your children well. You have to make it a priority to treat her well, because otherwise you will never see wealth. You wonder
mm,
where's the wealth? Because the women, like you say, they bring forth life. It's
right.
like the husband and the wife, they're co-creators with God. They bring forth another person. And that vessel that brings that person is very important and should be cared for. Not like treated, just cared for and protected because she's bringing forth life. Because this life will be the next generation that will again protect again the tribe. So
Mm,
there's something about that is so powerful that women have to be treated with respect and protected at a time where this very vulnerable time where they're bringing forth life. I'll tell you my own birth story. My dad tells all of us in our family about our birth story. When my mom was going to have me, and I came earlier than what she expected. My mom has a restaurant, so it was a Monday, and see, I know it was a Monday, and he had to rush now to go take care of some stuff. So he went to buy the ritual, the kola nuts, because in Africa you buy kola nut when the child is born. Even though I wasn't born yet, but because she said, "Oh, I think I'm gonna have a baby today," he goes out to buy the stuff and comes back, and then I was born at home. But guess what? The midwives were there. All the women they'll come around my mom. They took care of, and then of course right after 7 days later they have the celebration. And my dad said when he went to buy the kola nut, he wasn't thinking. He just bought what he needed to buy because he said, "Oh my gosh, she's coming sooner than we expected." But guess what? They summoned all the elders, which is what they do. All the elders came and they opened the box of kola nut or the bag, and the kola nut were huge. They said usually they're tiny kola nut, but big sizes came out, and they said every elder grabbed one and said, "This daughter of you, she's going to be a daughter that belongs to us. She's going to do whatever they said." I wasn't there, but all the blessings. But guess what? That story, I carry that with me. Wherever I go, I know who I am. I said, I'm a daughter of of a lion. I'm going to do great things. Whatever I touch is going to prosper. That's just
Mm,
how I think because
mm,
of the way I was told of my birth. So imagine the contrast if you say now somebody got was going to give birth and nobody was there, right? And they're by themselves. But I'm so grateful that you love your mother so much because you see what she did, the sacrifice she made. Because a mother is always going to be a mother. She will sacrifice for her child and she will be there. And that is more reason why we should protect women and take care of them and show them that they matter and they're important, not be flimsy about them, say this about them, they're this, they're that. Even if we can say that about a woman, we shouldn't. We
mm.
shouldn't. Because
Wow.
all of us, the kings of this earth, even for me as a believer of Christ, the creator of the universe came through a woman, was born of a woman. Think about that. So why would you want to disrespect her in any way? You say what you want to protect her, preserve her, and help her to do good, to take care of your children, and to do everything that she can. Because a woman, if you lay your life for her, she will literally be everything that you need for her to do for you. That's how
Mm.
I feel. So
Wow.
I'm so grateful you brought that up.
Well, I'm grateful that you took it home with that, and it's and I think that the economic and the wealth lesson here that I want everybody to grab from what Aisha said, that there was a lot that was said, is that part of your wealth journey should be understanding the things that are worth a lot of money, but also understanding things that are worth that money cannot buy, right? That are worth more than money. Money it doesn't isn't the be all end all. Money is a tool. It's a vehicle to get you to the things that money cannot buy. And something has to be sacred. And you get to decide what's sacred in your life. You get to decide if that child's birth is special or if it's not. You get to decide if your family matters or if you don't. And one of the challenges that we have to face as African American people, when it comes to our wealth journey, is you get a lot of your validation from people who don't necessarily have your best interests at heart. You get that you sort of you come into this world and they say, well, you're nothing but a Negro. You're nothing but a former slave. That's all you are. Until until you graduate from Yale. Now you are somebody. Or until you get a job working for Nike. Now you're important because we validated you. Or now we validated you with an Oscar or a Grammy or Employee of the Month, right? So these little validations that they label you with, that's not necessary for you to truly see the value in who you are and what you have. And the thing is that the sooner that self-worth is developed, the sooner the other forms of wealth will start to emerge. Because as Aisha is saying, because she was told she was special from the time she was born, she didn't need to leave the village to find out who she was. The village told her who the hell she was. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? So what happens when the village tells the children who they are, when the B1 village says this is who you are, they're gonna be loyal to the village. They're not gonna say, well, my goal, my whole think about how many times you hear our people say, well, my goal was to get out of the hood. I had to get away from my old neighborhood. I now I'm doing better because I left the village. No, I want them to have a village where they say, no matter where in the world I went, I couldn't wait to get back to the village because I know that's where the gold is buried. Do y'all understand? The gold is not out there. The gold is actually right here. It's buried in your backyard. You just got to pull out the shovel. You got to dig deep. You got to do the work. Right? And this is where the therapy and all this other stuff comes in. If we do the work, then we will get the reward. So Aisha, so before I move on, Aisha, I wanna mention everybody. I'm speaking with Miss Aisha Verzi. She is a just an awesome member of the Black Business School. She's in our Winner Circle Mastermind. Also, she participates on Fly Nubian Money pretty very regularly. And actually, this weekend, she's doing a presentation. If you guys want to be invited, I'll send out a text link, and it's going to basically relate to being your own bank
Yes.
and the benefits of things like insurance, index universal life, and legacy planning, things like that. Did you want to talk about that in terms of what you plan to discuss on Saturday?
Yes, doctor, thank you so much for the opportunity. We'll just be learning and discussing about how you can use the tools available to you to grow your wealth. And Dr. Boyce does just a great job telling us how to grow our wealth, accumulate wealth, right? So now here we'll talk about how do we preserve it and make sure that we pass it down properly to the next generation, right? Because I want everybody to walk away understanding the power of a life insurance policy, how it can truly be a way you can actually close that gap that you need to close in a shorter time, right? So that's what we'll be discussing. So come learn about how all these tools that we have. Dr. Boyce is teaching us how to make money. I'm in this class because I want to learn how to make money and how to keep growing and multiplying the money, but also knowing how to preserve it. So my expertise is in wealth preservation. So let's talk about that. As you make that money, you put some aside to preserve it for the next generation because you don't want to, at the end of the day, say, I didn't have anything left because, well, I didn't plan. Well, we will make sure that we take care of that because the Black Business School, we're holistic. We want to take care of everything that has to do with your wealth, your esteem, your self-worth, and net worth. We want to take care of that. And you have to have that confidence that that's what we want to do for you. So yeah, come join us tomorrow. We'll be talking for a couple of hours and there'll be Q&A. So if you have any questions you're not sure of, we can take care of that, right? So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow, Dr. Boy. So thank you for letting me share about that tomorrow.
Absolutely, absolutely. Dorothea, I will send out the Dorothea's already asking for the invite.
Oh,
I will text it out later on today. So if you want to get that text make sure you're on the text list. Text the word morning to the phone number 87948. So pull out your phone, text the word morning to 87948. You'll also get a wake-up call to join us in class this morning. Also, don't forget that tonight we are doing the financial slumber party at 11 o'clock. So if you
those
want
are
to learn
fun.
yeah, yeah. You know what? I love it. I thought it was one of my little crazy ideas that came up because I thought, why don't we just get together and like have a party, but kind of do a party on Zoom but still learn, right? So it's called how to make money how to make money on Monday. And what I'll do is I'll give you some stock options plays and we'll talk about the basics of options to kind of get started. And what I'll do here is I'm gonna put a link to the slumber party right here in the chat so you guys can grab it right now if you want to. I'll also text it out to you. If you text the word morning to the number 87948, you will get that. So Aisha, let me just not that I want to make anybody sad today, but I'm gonna share some other stats about black wealth transfer and just
Mm.
what happens here. Did you know that only 23% of black households expect to receive an inheritance at all? For whites, it's about 46%, so it's double for whites.
Mhm.
Second of all, when they do get an inheritance, the average black inheritance is about $30,000, while for white families it's closer to $200,000. Now, here's my thought. Here's a simple way I think that could fix that problem instantaneously. Let me ask you this. If a person is relatively healthy, and let's say they're under 55 years old, I would imagine that it wouldn't cost a ton of money for them to get a life insurance policy worth $100,000. Again, I know it's not free for sure, and maybe we all have different ranges of affordability, but I'm thinking maybe I could theoretically, if I'm decently healthy, get a $100,000 policy for less of a monthly cost than it might cost me to get a new Kia or to make payments on my cell phone or things like that. What are your thoughts on that?
Doctor, absolutely true. I think there's a myth out there, and that's what's actually keeping a lot of us from purchasing a policy. We think that it's going to cost us so much. They always think that it's so expensive. It is true that your health matters when it comes to life insurance. That's the only way they can, weigh their risk. But that doesn't also mean that you are out because we also have providers that are willing to take high risk clients. So don't count yourself out when it comes to the maybe the premiums or your health. Rather, let the professional, do the work. A
Mm,
lot of times, it's amazing to me how small it costs. It's really a price of maybe a couple of coffee that you buy that you can really have that peace of mind, number one, and also know that you can transfer wealth. And I think also it's important for us not to always try to copy other people. Be do what works for your family because there's IUL, there's Be Your Own Bank, there's this. It doesn't mean that you have to do that. The goal here is that you do what actually the life insurance is supposed to do the first place is to protect you and your asset and your family for the next generation. That was why it was created to protect. It's not or all the other, different way to use it comes to play, but the number one goal for you to have that is to protect your family because the question is, do you love your family? Do you want them to be okay? If something happened to you yesterday, will your wife and children be able to survive or would they be struggling? That's a simple question. So you can get if it's term policy that works at a particular time, do the term policy. If it's a whole life, it's an IUL. The goal is what works best for your family. But I also believe, with everything that I know, coming to this country as an immigrant and understanding on this culture, there's some things that we cannot control, but there's some things that we can control. And what we can control is we can get our protection for our family because nobody can stop you from owning a life insurance policy. Nobody can say because you're this color, that color. That doesn't exist in that space. And also, please, sometimes people say, oh, they actually ask you, doctor. That's kind of shocks me sometimes when they'll ask you, well, what is your commission? That kind of throws, I say, are you worried about my commission or your family member? That throws me off. They actually asked me, so what are you going to get from this?
Well,
Please, let's
well,
let's
why
focus.
why would anybody expect another person to be working for free? That's the part,
Honestly, they
you
ask you,
know.
and that throws you off. And I'm saying, don't worry about me. We're here for you and your family. That is why I am here. What is going to happen to your family? Something happens to you. That's why I'm here. Not about my commission. So sometimes people also that's also people think about that. They worry about that, and so they don't do anything. They feel
Mm,
they feel that you are taking their money, so they don't want to do anything. So
mm.
please, please, please.
Well, just so people know, I mean, and the reason I brought up the $100,000 policy is because that fixes that problem earlier. Remember, the average white person leaves $200,000 to their
Yes.
family. The
Yes.
average black person leaves $30,000 to their family. So, to me, everybody in here, because you all are the canaries in the mine, you are the talented 10th. You are the visionaries of our community. It's not the goofball celebrities. It's none of those people
No,
because they're trapped. Unfortunately, I'm not making. I don't want to make fun of them, but they're kind of locked in. They can't see their own community as much as they see the other things. Then to me that means problem solving, right? Well, this is a problem that has a very simple solution.
very simple.
If everybody in this room just commits to say, I'm going to go get me a life insurance policy for at least $100,000, then bam, that 30,000 jumps to 100,000 for your family. That eliminates one of the biggest economic problems and challenges that exist in the black community. You literally wipe out a big chunk of a disparity just like that.
Just like that.
And
So
what I
true.
encourage, right, and what I encourage people to understand is that the solutions to the problems are inside of you. You're going to have to be the solution. It ain't going to be Trump. It ain't going to be Harris. It is not going to be, some politician. It's got to be you.
Very
If
true.
it's not you, then what makes you think that? I mean, these people have never solved problems for us. What makes you think they're going to start now?
Never.
So basically, if anybody wants to know costs, Aisha, I got some data here. And I'll lay out what the cost, the average, these are averages now. Everybody's situation is different. Everybody's health scenario is different. But let's say that you are how many of you are 55 years or younger? Everybody who's all the kids in the group, you're the kids. Most of our audience is over the age of 35. So
Mhm.
55 on down. And some of y'all might be teenagers or something, which makes me really excited because the sooner you know wealth, the sooner
The
you're going to be
better.
successful. Yeah, usually people got to get kicked around and get their butts kicked for about 20 years, and then they hit about 35 and they say, "Wait, I'm doing this wrong." Right? But so congrats to those who figured it out early. Well, check this out. Did you know that if you are a non-smoker and you're 55 years old, the average term policy for men would be 85 to $105 a month. For women, it's 65 to $85 a month because women are just
Yes.
healthier, right?
Yes.
So to me, if you're not willing to sacrifice just that small amount of money, that $105 a month for your kids, for your family, I would question your commitment to your family. I really would. I'm not saying that you don't love them, but maybe you're loving them the wrong way. Now, if you want to go whole life policies, they don't have a term. They don't end at a certain time.
That's
They just go
correct.
for life.
That's correct.
For men, the average cost is $230 to $280 a month.
That's
For women,
correct.
it's 190 to 240, and this is for people 55 and under.
No, yep,
I mean, I'm not saying that's not a lot of money. I get it, right? We got bills and stuff like that. But 280, most of y'all have, if you have a car and you're making a car payment, you're probably paying more than 280 a month. You probably have bills that are more than that. So why wouldn't your family be the most important bill that you pay? Don't let death sneak up on you and then make your family destitute. You prepare for these things.
that's
Now,
right.
now let me just give a little more data for those who are, say, 65. Now I know some of you are over 65, so we'd have to extrapolate from that. But if you are 65, the whole life policy cost for men is 360 to 420 because you're getting more and you're covered for life and you're a little bit
Correct.
older. Let's just be honest. But hey, that's why I'm telling you guys, like when you talk about investing, little things like going to the gym or taking a walk every day or not smoking or eating right. Those are not just investments in you, but those are investments in your wealth. But anyway, for men it's 360 to 420. For women it's 300 to 370. That's for the whole life. Now for term, for men it's 65. The average is 190 to 230 a month. For women, it's 140 to 190 a month. And term covers you for, this is assuming 20 years. Okay. So long story short, I'm going to ask everybody to make a commitment right now in this room because we solve problems. We don't just whine and complain
That's
and
right.
march and pray. Give me a yes if you will ensure that you go out and you will get at least $100,000 worth of life insurance on yourself. If you've already done it, put yes in the chat. If you're going to do it, put a yes in the chat. I need y'all to do this. I mean, this is it's simple. This is not, this is not rocket science. This is not, acrobatics and calculus. This ain't even algebra. This is two
No.
plus two is four.
Yes.
Life insurance literally would shift the wealth of the black community by leaps and bounds.
Oh,
So if you've already done good, thank you. And I'd like to see your yeses because I want to make progress. I don't want us to just come in here and feel good every day. I need to make sure that we make other people feel good.
yes.
Because when you don't leave anything to the children, they're gonna feel really bad
Yeah.
when they're figuring out how to grieve you, how to bury you, and then how to survive without you because you wasn't thinking about them at all when you were alive and well and had an opportunity to do something about it. And so Aisha, I'd love for you to feel free to follow up on what I just said there.
No, thank you, Dr. Boyce, for actually, and it's so true. And just imagine that the cost that you just laid down. There's a certain age we get where $200, 250, 300 should be something that we just do because this is important for my family and we just get it done. And imagine if we were beginning when the kids are even younger. And also people also think only insurance is only for elderly people. No, the wealthy know as soon as a kid is at 2 weeks old, 2 weeks old, they purchase life insurance equal to their net worth. So if a family is worth 10 million and a new child is born, that child gets a $10 million policy. Can you imagine that? That family
Mm.
never goes broke. That's just exactly how
Yes,
they do it. That's exactly how
yes,
they do it. And if we know this
yes.
information, why can't we do that same thing?
Hmm.
I always run numbers for families to see how much it would cost. You have an 18-year-old, like maybe for $100, they can get a $500,000 policy for the rest of their life, $100 a month because you did it sooner. And they have time to grow it if you need to. So there's so many things we could be doing that we don't have to stress and point fingers or play the blame game. Dr. Boyce, I love what Dr. Fraser said. He said, I don't want to be around people that are still complaining, still not doing anything, still not making the move, still saying I can do it, but they can, but they just don't want to do it. So let's just do what we need to do because we know is right. Because like Dr. Boyce just said, nobody is going to do it for us. No one's going to come to do it for us. But we have to, because we believe that we are valuable and we care about our family, we do it for ourselves.
Yes.
And we are worth it. We are worth it. We're worth it. We're worth it. And we have different kind of policies. So literally, if you have any question, call me too. I can help you. I can answer your questions and help you. Tomorrow is a great day to come do that, right? I'll provide my QR code so you can, because I'm part of the Black Business School as well. We want to support the Black Business School. So if you come through the Black Business School and ask for my help, we must support the Black Business School because
Wow.
we can't just take and not put back. Dr. Boyce and the team is trying to build a legacy for us as a people. So we have to support what they're doing. And how do we do that? Plug in, find out who is in that space that is doing what you're looking for. Plug into them so that we give back to the Black Business School because we must build it with him. We can't let him do it by himself. So please, if you need anything, plug into Black Business School, see who is doing what you need, and get it from there. So that way we continue to also help the Black Business School. That's why we exist. So I'm here to help you. If I can help you, please reach out to me. But I want to make it clear that whatever I do is also to support the Black Business School. So anytime you support me, you know that I'm also supporting the Black Business School. To me, it is something that I have to do. If we have somebody that wants us to do well, we have to surround that person and push them up so that all of us can grow together. That's the goal.
Well, thank you, Aisha. I appreciate that. And and I'll tell you, it's to me this is an exciting journey that we're on because I'm absolutely convinced that we're making history, you know, with everything that we're all doing here. I know that with the research that Alicia has started conducting on Black financial psychology, which again, we search all the academic journals and nobody's really studied any of this. So we've already found some things where we're like, okay, we get it now. You know, one of the things she talks about is something called self-efficacy and just
Yes.
believing that you can do things.
Yes.
And a lot of times, the high trauma rates in the Black community reduces our self-efficacy. It makes us know, like we know the answer, right? We get the financial literacy. We hear people tell us what to do, but because we haven't healed from the trauma, then
Mhm.
we end up just sitting there frozen, right? You just lean back on what your parents did, even though your parents, you know they did it wrong. Y'all know they messed up your money, but yet for whatever reason, that trauma and what it does to our body and our brain, we just freeze. And it's like, okay, so that means that in order for you to get to building the wealth and all that, you got to get to repairing, right? So
Yes.
the word reparations, the word repair is in reparations. I believe that you need to give reparations to yourself before you ever gonna get reparations from that man across the street.
That's right.
So I vote that we give ourselves reparations, repair that, right, fix it. They're not gonna do it for you,
Mm.
and if you show up broken, it's gonna be hard to get somebody to repair because you won't even have the ability to even demand what you deserve because even you don't even know if you deserve it. Even you don't even know what your self-worth is, right? So you are somebody. You are worthy. This is important. You preserve the things that matter. You matter. Your family matters. Your legacy matters, right? This is what's important to know.
Yes.
So anyway, before we finish up, I want everybody to know that tomorrow, Aisha is her presentation is going to be done in the Fly Nubian Money Club, which if you go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, I'll put that URL in the chat. You can do a free trial. They've got smart women and they do stuff regularly on an investing scale where they get together, they learn, they connect. They have a whole community there. Tierra runs that. So if you want to go to flynubianmoneyclub.com and do a free trial, you can do that. The men are welcome as long as you don't mind learning from women. All the teachers are women. That's the rule. Everybody in there is a woman that's teaching. Constance Carter, Dr. Lene Javette, Dr. Alicia, a lot of women are doing this. So flynubianmoneyclub.com. I'll put the URL in the chat. But for tomorrow's event, everybody can come to Aisha's event for free. I'll send you all the link and you all can join. And then if you want the recording or if you want to get other access to what they're doing in the Fly Nubian Money Club, you can do a free trial and it's quite worthwhile. It'll really give you some value. Another thing too is that don't forget that tonight we're having the financial slumber party.
Number party.
And I'll text that link out later on today as well. Make sure you're on the text list. The text list is text the word morning to the number 87948. So if you text morning to 87948, I'll send you that. And then also one more thing too, so that everybody just knows what's going on. We have a lot happening in the school all the time. Is we are doing stock options. We're going to meet with the prime students, which stands for passive recurring income machine. We're going to meet with the stock options income students on Monday night at 8 o'clock. And for those of you that are interested in digging in, I think stock options are a great way to make passive income. Here is a link that you can use for a 7-day free trial in the Prime program if you want to try that out. And so just so you know, a lot of these special links I will give you when you come to class live. So if you don't come live, some things you're gonna miss if you don't come live. So when I send you that wake up call and you want to roll out of bed, some of you can come back and watch it later. But if you come live, then I'll give you something special as a reward for coming in live. The text word Barbara is morning, it like just waking up in the morning. So text the word morning to the phone number 87948. So that 7-day trial link for Prime is for you guys because you came to class live, and so we'll be doing stock options Monday, financial slumber party tonight at 11 p.m. And Aisha will be working with us tomorrow morning at 10, what, sorry, is it 10 or it's 11 Eastern,
It's
right?
11.
11 Eastern, 11 Eastern. So, and in fact, tomorrow in class, I'll remind you again. So, I want to say thank you, Aisha, very much for coming in today. I'm inspired. I feel like I didn't just get I didn't just get like an economic conversation. I feel like this was a bigger discussion about culture and how that value, that wealth, that real wealth kind of comes out of culture, which obviously spins itself into economic wealth as well. That's a part of wealth, right? And I think that for everybody listening, that's the holistic approach you want to take. You don't want to just think about just money. Some people are poor, so poor that all they have is
It's
money.
money.
Right. And in fact, actually, and I'll say this, then we're going to finish, but did y'all know that every study out here says that Americans are really good at making money? We're the best on earth at making money. That's why our economy is so strong. When they talk about American exceptionalism, just in case y'all don't, in the world of finance, the term American exceptionalism is used because our stock market is exceptionally strong, our economy is exceptionally strong. So that's what they mean by American exceptionalism. But what they find is that while Americans are the best on earth at making money, we are the worst on earth when it comes to quality of life.
Yep.
Among industrialized countries, we have among the lowest life expectancies. Our healthcare system is horrible relative to the amount that we pay. People are not happy. Your marriages and your families are just falling apart left and right. And so you got a bunch of lonely people with full pockets and pockets full of money. So you got a whole bunch of money in the bank, but every other bank account, your emotional bank account is empty. Your relationship bank account is empty. Your health bank account is empty. But yet you got money sitting over here at Chase and they're not even really giving you much interest on it anyway. So the reality and is that you got to think deeper than just the money, or you're going to end up like so many of these other people who have the money part figured out, but they haven't figured out the wealth part. Does that make sense? Give me a
That's
yes if
true.
that makes sense. I didn't mean to
Yes.
overtalk it, but I hope that this helps somebody in terms of how you see these things. All right. So God
Yes.
bless you, everybody. And thank you, Aisha.
Thank you,
It's
doctor.
it's
Thank
always a
you.
pleasure to see you.
What a blessing.
And I will see you all tomorrow morning and or tonight at the slumber party. I hope you guys will come out. I'll
Slumber
text that
party.
in a second. Yes. So see you guys soon. Take care now.
God
Bye
bless you.
bye.
Thank you.